I'm Dr. Lynn Fox, and I'm here to continue our study and implementation of TESA, Teacher Expectation and Student Achievement. So today we are moving right along, and we are going to be looking at Interaction 8, which is reasons for praise. Now, it's different from the type of feedback that we talked about in Interaction number 5. So what does this mean? Well, basically, we are going to make sure that our students know when we say something positive that it is specific to what they're doing, but now we're going to focus in on what is it that makes it a better answer, or how in relationship to a complete answer it is, so that they know where their progress is. And I like to use this visual that'll be coming up, and it has the letters P, R, A, I, S, E. And each one of these will remind you of something that helps make this particular interaction more effective and allows you to be able to monitor your own implementation of it. So let's look at the P. The P stands for praise. And once again, as you know, TESA is hierarchical and sequential. So we've already talked about it's really important that we do use more positives than negatives with the students. The R, what does the R stand for? It stands for the reason. This is where the specificness comes in. What are they doing correctly and incorrectly, and what is going to help them to be able to duplicate rather than just guess at what they did correctly. So then we move right along to approval. And once again, this is different than just saying you've done a nice job. But we're looking at, we are teachers, and our job is to basically educate them academically as well as in other areas. But let's focus on academics with TESA. We are basically letting them know that we appreciate the tasks that they have done and what it is that they are doing right. And again, it's the reinforcement. We've talked about checking for understanding. This is another technique that goes in with this approval. We're there when they're making, giving you an answer, or they are writing something down that is going to lead them closer to the desired results. So P, R, A. Now we're in I. I is really important, and I think it's one of the things that the kids find most important and most motivating to them, which is, how am I improving? I don't have to be perfect, and if I don't know it, and then I start and I take a stab at it, and I am doing better, I need to know that. I need to know that I can build on that, that it's not just whether I'm good or not, but it's what do I need to be able to do to get this task done, and to do it in such a way that it meets the criteria. We move right along to the S. What does the S mean? Well, the S stands for suggestions that you have for the students. And it doesn't have to be, again, just from a teacher. It can be from another student, or it could be from a number of students that are working in a group, so that it helps them have something to hang this reasons why they're being successful or not. And then the last is evaluation. It's very important that we do evaluate and give feedback, because there is a different standard for test as opposed to homework, as opposed to doing creative type activities. And in the real world, we are evaluated by levels of competency. So this is another thing that we add in this area of reasons for praise. And on this note, I'm going to turn it over to Sandra Elliott, who always has some really good ideas and shows you how to use the Make a Difference in a Day handbook so that you can implement these things in an easier, more effective way.
Hello. Today we're dealing with a different level of reasons for praise. And the focus is to help students understand what steps they need to take to improve and how to do that. And to do it in a way that motivates them and that they feel that there's a reason for them to make an effort. One way to do that, particularly if you're an English language learner, or you might be a special ed student, is to set up and use a rubric. And this could be done in several different ways. If you were a sub and there was a specific assignment, you might have written on the board that these would be the things, 1, 2, 3 steps for peer evaluation, for editing, and that the task for the day, after they finished whatever the assignment is, to maybe sit down with a peer and they might exchange papers. They could read the papers to each other, and looking up at the rubric, they could then score each other's papers. And they would do this before they went home. And that way they would have a basis for their evaluation. And in our little book on pages 139 and 140, it refers to, and this is under the heading of practice, but at the bottom of the page it says, how will students know how well they have done? Provide immediate and frequent feedback, because this, remember, is under the heading of feedback, and evaluation in different formats. And this is very helpful. Another area in the book that could be useful, and it deals with motivation, because if the student perceives the task to be too stressful or too difficult, it really doesn't matter. They're going to tune you out. And so it's suggested that they need knowledge of results, they need encouragement, and they need it done in a way where it is not a tense, it's more like a low-stake environment. And in that way, I think you can be more supportive with your students, no matter what their background is. So we're ready to go on to the next step in TESA.